What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my analysis of the Fallen banner for this year. And the Fallen banner is extremely strong, starting off with Fallen Female Byleth, who's a sword infantry unit, and she's from 3 Hopes. How she gets to this point is definitely a big spoiler. You should definitely play 3 Hopes for that, because it's definitely a really unexpected thing that happens in story. So she's got Captain's Sword, which gives her minus on special cooldown, and she also has the obstruct effect that we have seen from the Bulwark skill and also from the detailed report of Gatekeeper. And then she's able to get +5 to all of her stats and neutralizes completely any kind of buffs of foes in the combat. So she's got the dull all effect, and then after the combat she heals up 7 HP, so that is really good for the self-sustain. And then finally, if she's got more speed than the opponent, then she gets Vantage. So this is basically speed preempt that we saw on Brave Byleth, but can also trigger against the melee foes. And this kind of overshadows the Forma Brave Marth that we have right now, because the niche of Brave Marth is that he can have all these effects and also have Vantage, while Byleth is going to be able to have that, and on top of that she gets Divine Pulse, which is absolutely insane, giving her 25% of the damage from her speed and also reducing the damage from foes next attack by 75%. And keep in mind, the damage reduction that she gets here is actually not pierceable by Deadeye or Lethality, and then she can boost up her next attack by 20% of her speed, and this is going to be the true damage. So this definitely makes her pretty much one of the best God Swords in the game, if not the best one, because she is going to be having access to Divine Pulse, going to be constantly looping it with Time Pulse 4, and also have such a stacked weapon. And Divine Pulse is just better than Vital Astra or Godlike Reflexes that many people run on many of the God Swords. So Divine Pulse is really strong. Still, I do think that Lucia is also a really good God Sword unit, but Fallen Female Byleth is definitely up there in the tiers with Lucia when it comes to the best God Swords in the game. And then we have got Distant Attack Solo as the new slotty skill. So it does give you distant counter, but if you want to get attack and speed +5, then you need to be solo. So this is definitely going to be really helpful to get both speed and attack. And this kind of Byleth really needs the speed, because she doesn't really want to get outsped and not really get the damage reduction from Close Call 4 and not trigger her Vantage effect basically. So stacking up enough speed on her is always going to be helpful. This distant counter skill is going to be really good on many Omni tanks that want to have both speed and attack. So you no longer have to choose between either the Distant Dart or Distant Ferocity. You can have both attack and speed at the cost of being solo, which is not the worst thing honestly. Because as it is in stuff like Aether Raids offense, for example, you want to be away from your ally so that the support unit does not get sniped. So not the biggest deal, and definitely is going to be a really good skill. She does have Close Call 4, which is already the best lobby skill for her. Unless we get like Spurn 4 in the future, that would also be pretty good. So with Close Call 4, you're able to get the speed debuff, which is really helpful to her, the damage reduction, and also the phantom speed built in. And Time Pulse 4 is perfect with Divine Pulse, so that you can always have Divine Pulse charged up. It is going to be constantly looping it, so that is really strong and synergetic base kit. And yeah, this kind of Fallen Female Byleth is going to be really strong as a God Sword unit with all of the tools that she has available. She just needs Null Follow Up as the Sacred Seal, or you can just outsource that Null Follow Up from some other ally. We do have Infantry Null Follow Up in the Divine Codes 4 as it is, so it shouldn't be much of a trouble to do that. So that is the first Fallen unit, and we're already going so strong. And we're gonna go even stronger with Fallen Maria bringing something in the game that we never really had before. So she is a staff healer, which as you saw healed up Michaelis all the way back to full HP. So Sacrifice Staff does have the Dazzling Staff built in and also gives you minus and special cooldown, and then she can get +5 to all of her stats in the combat, and also has the Null Guard effect built in, which is basically the offensive half of the tempo skill. And then she has got the most unique support in the game, which is Drive Spectrum and Drive Life Unending. So Life Unending was the niche of Legendary Fae, and Maria just steals that and gives that to everyone in form of a drive skill. So it basically gives you Miracle on survival, and then you heal up HP just like you do on Legendary Fae. But keep in mind that this is only once per map. So yeah, this is definitely an insanely strong support for Aether Raids offense, for Summoner Duels. But keep in mind that because this is a drive support, it is affected by the feud status of Embla and Colorless Feud Slotsy skill. So you have to keep that in mind, and colorless feud is definitely going to be a bit more common in Summoner Duels if, you know, a lot of people use this kind of Fallen Maria. And of course, in the light season, Embla is going to get even more value because you don't want to face an Omni tank that is backed up by this kind of Fallen Maria and basically given another life. So that is pretty insane, honestly. You know, compared to Ymir, who can erase the debuffs and still gives you Miracle, this kind of Miracle is better because you heal up the HP, but it's only, you know, once per map. So that's, you know, really, really strong. She does have Holy Panic as a 2 cooldown special, so with her staff, it does become 1 cooldown, and she does have Null Guard, so she's always going to be triggering this on her, like, double, or you can even just pre-charge this with Time Pulse 4 and constantly loop it. So whenever the special triggers, it boosts by 20% of foes' resistance, and if special is triggered during the combat, then it inflicts -6 attack and speed debuff and panic on target and foes within 2 spaces of that target. So definitely pretty nice for the debuff support. And then she has got attack speed unity, Poetic Justice making its way into the normal summoning pool, which is really, really good. And this definitely helps Maria quite a bit because she can do even more damage and also get the speed debuff. And even recovery can always be, you know, just replaced by something that can be a bit more supportive, or even something that can help Maria, like attack speed Oath 4 or Time Pulse 4. All of those things can be done. So Fallen Maria is a very, very strong staff infantry unit just based on her stats offensively, but the main thing why she's going to be standing out is definitely because of the drive Life Unending, which is going to be so strong in Aether Raids and also in Summoner Duels. So that is going to be the thing to watch out for. It's just insane, man. Life Unending as a drive skill is just nuts. So Fallen Maria is going to be really, really strong. A lot of people are probably going to be sparking her. And then we have got Anankos. So this is Anankos from the DLC, and he is a fast blue armor dragon. And this kind of fast blue armor is tailor-made to counter Summer Edelgard in Aether Raids, basically. So he does have Silent Breath, which does give him minus in special cooldown, and +5 to all of his stats in the combat. And then he also has the in-combat panic, which we have seen before on stuff like Legion before. So in-combat panic is definitely pretty nice. And then he has got 20% true damage based on his speed, so that is really good for nuking. And then finally he has got 7 flat damage reduction against foes' first attack. So it is the 7 flat damage reduction like we have seen before on skills like Shield Pulse, for example, which has got the 5 flat damage reduction. So this kind of flat damage reduction is really, really good on top of the Savvy Fighter damage reduction that he can try and get. So he's got Noontime, Kessel Stance 3, and Savvy Fighter 4. It is definitely a tame upgrade from Savvy Fighter 3, but it's definitely a nice upgrade for fast armors where you can get the attack and speed debuff and also get a bit more damage reduction while still having the full null follow-up, which is really, really helpful when you're a fast armor. And then he also has attack speed near save. So yeah, Anankos is basically going to be a very fast armor with the damage reduction, with the guard effect, with the flat damage reduction, and also the in-combat panic. So it's not even like you're going to be just ignored with the visible buffs. It's that you're going to be punished if you are buffed up and if you face against this Anankos because of his in-combat panic. So definitely a solid near save armor unit, and having this kind of near save armor unit that is fast is always going to be working well in the meta where we have Brave Seliph, for example, or Legendary Nana, for example, which are very fast sword cavaliers. So if you deny their doubles, you just have a much better chance of survival. So being a fast blue near save tank is definitely really, really good. And of course there's also Summer Edelgard. So yeah, that is going to be the fast armor unit that we have. It's definitely going to be really, really good with all of the things that he has got going on defensively and also offensively with the true damage based on his speed. I wonder how fast he's going to be. I guess maybe like base 46, base 47 speed. And then we have the rearmed unit of this banner, who's also Fallen Risen King Chrom. So a lot of people have always wanted Risen King Chrom ever since we saw the Cypher card, me included. And he has this pose similar to his Awakening Art, which is a really neat reference. So he is a sword cavalry unit, same as Rearmed Liv. I wish he was a different class though. So here we can see his reposition in action, Fate Unchanged. And you can see inflicting exposure on this Fafnir, on this Lance Armor, and also the Sabotage effect. So that is part of his base kit. And he does come with a new Arcane Sword and Arcane Devourer, which is going to be the Arcane Sword for the fast sword infantry units. This weapon gives you -1 special cooldown, and in start of combat, if you're at or above 25% HP, you can get +5 to all of your stats and also +1 special cooldown charges per attack, both on your attacks and on foes' attacks. So this is going to be really good for running godlike reflexes and looping it, and also for running Gale Force. So it is pretty much what Arcane Xiang has got, but there's no clash conditioning here. And then you've got 40% damage reduction on foes' first attack, and also if you've got more speed than the opponent, then you get full null follow-up. So this kind of weapon basically combines the good effects of like Arcane Xiang and Arcane Lewin and combines them into one weapon. So this is going to be a better weapon for the faster sword infantry units, because you're going to be able to use godlike reflexes a lot better. You also can stack up even more damage reduction with the damage reduction skills, and also get the full null follow-up, which is really good. And for the slower units, Arcane Elutineer is going to be better, as you do get the guaranteed follow-up attack and the follow-up negation. So this is definitely going to be the weapon to get if you have a fast sword infantry unit who needs some kind of arcane upgrade. And then he's got Fate Unchanged, which is basically kind of similar to a Fate Changed or the other reposition skills that we have seen on Chrom versions. So this one actually inflicts exposure on the nearest foes within 4 spaces of both unit and the target ally after the movement, and then it extends its exposure on foes within 2 spaces of those foes if they have a save skill. So that is insane splash effect. So this is going to be really good for triggering exposure to support your allies, and also for just debuffing a lot of the save tanks because of its extended reach. And then he has got Gale Force, which does work well with the special cooldown that he has got in his weapon. Attack Speed Clash 4 is definitely really nice on a Cavalier. And then we've got Speed Defense Snack 4, which is gonna be a niche skill. I mean, only him and like Brave Chrom are gonna be able to make good use out of this, because snack skills are not available for the infantry units. So unfortunately, Legend Chrom, Duo Chrom, or Legend Lucina are not gonna be able to make use of this. So that is a bit unfortunate. So Speed Defense Snack 4 is a tier 4 Snack 4 skill, which definitely has got a very nice upgrade, because you can now inflict -4 speed and defense debuff on foe during the combat, and then if a movement assist is used, then you can inflict -7 speed and defense debuff, and also inflict the sabotage status on the nearest foes within 4 spaces. And then you also extend its range in case the opponents have, you know, any kind of save skill. So if they're within 2 spaces of those foes, then they also get affected by the sabotage status and the debuffs. So sabotage status is basically the foe penalty doubler, but on the opponent, and we have seen this before on Duo Mark recently. So this is definitely a really nice snack skill, but it is going to be niche for sure with how it works basically. And then they also have infantry speed tactic on this Fallen Chrom. So definitely a really solid Fallen unit. His reposition skill is not really as good as Brave Chrom or Duo Chrom, but still inflicting exposure is really nice. So at least he is going to be a bit more unique than a lot of the rearmed units who don't really have any kind of preferred skill at the very least. And we are also going to be having Fallen Linus as the Grandeur Battle unit. So Fallen Linus is just going to be a bit more pale, and he's probably going to be having another version of Basilicos, I think. So going to be looking forward to him. I really wanted Fallen Lloyd, but maybe next year. I really don't want to give up hope for a better Lloyd in the future. So that is going to be the Fallen banner, extremely strong, and you can actually spark 2 times on this banner if you have got the orbs. So you can basically get like 2 Fallen units, which are really strong for you. And all of these Fallen units are really strong, for sure. So this Fallen banner definitely introduces some really strong units and also some new skills. And let me know in the comments what do you think about this banner and if you're going to be summoning. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps you tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more free videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Drive Life Unending in the hands of AI. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.